JD here, and as you can see, we are back with some league racing action. This time for GASR round 2. As you can see, here is the calendar for this season. And we've already done round 1 at Imola, which I have done the highlights video for. So if you haven't watched that, make sure you check it out. So yeah, I will be doing a couple of spoilers in a second. But yeah, after the first round, I think that result there of a P6 round, a track that I think is going to be one of my weakest on the calendar, to come home in P6 after, I don't think, really driving that well. The setup wasn't particularly great round there, and yeah, overall, I think we were just quite fortunate through other people's errors to get P6 there. This league has become incredibly fast, and I knew coming into tracks like this, Hungary, where they're definitely among some of my stronger tracks on the calendar, I'm going to need to try and maximize it. So in Q1 here, I was actually pretty confident, I think, going into this race that I could get a good result, potentially like a podium. Fighting for the win really depends how high I actually start up on the grid, because on this game F125, as we all know by now, it is very, very difficult to overtake and make progress around Hungary. Even if you might have some superior race pace, you can't really afford to be way behind your competition on the grid. So we did a 15.2 in Q1, but you could see even after that we are sitting in P13. So the lap itself wasn't terrible, but the track was just getting faster and faster. So pretty much everyone had to go out again. This is almost turning into like a esports-esque kind of thing. You have to do 2 runs in the Q1, and yeah, that first up there, you can see we've just gone super deep on our final Q1 lap here, but I knew there was a lot more time in the lap itself. You can see it just hitting some apexes here. You saw my first lap, we missed a couple of apexes, we actually gained that time back, so it should have been about a 10th up. But coming into here at the top of the hill, have a little correction with the steering, hit the bump a little bit awkwardly, and that, you can see by the track limits here, has put me just wide and has invalidated that lap. And yeah, there's a bit of an RNG effect when you hit that curb. Sometimes it hits it really smoothly. That time it didn't, and I was really scared that I was going to lose the car, so I actually opened up my steering wheel ever so slightly, and because of that I actually ran wide by the smallest amounts. And we're going to continue this lap just to see what it would have been. It should have been about a 10th quicker than this as well. You can see if you go into this penultimate corner, look how much time we gained by just hitting the apex here compared to my first run. Look at that, it's so much time, plus track evolution a little bit as well, plus this last corner. Look at the time we're just getting through here. So this would have easily got us through into Q1.
Oh my god.
So a 15.067, that would have been enough for 4th in Q1, with again probably a good 10th and a bit more just through a couple of errors. And yeah, Carl had it Imola as well. I think he got knocked out in Q2, Suzuki in Q1. So it happens, and it very rarely happens to me that I invalidate a lap. But that was Q3. My PB coming into this was a 14.580. That would have put me, 7th on the grid. I was doing 0.6s, so I think I probably would have been 8th or 9th regardless. But 8th and 9th is better than P16 than what we're starting here now. So you can see this video is a fairly long one because there's a lot of things I want to talk about and quite a bit of raw footage I want to discuss and show you as well. And let me know if you like the longer videos, if you want them to be a little bit reduced, simply just let me know down below. But yeah, I was really gutted with that qualifying. I knew I wouldn't be getting pole or anything like that, or probably even like top 5, top 6, but I just think with the pace I had around here, I think I could have done something pretty good from there, and I think you're about to see that as we almost get collected. And yeah, if you've been watching this league for a while, the drivers are very good. This is probably the most competitive it has been in this league. There's a lot of drivers in here who are probably in the top 10 on PlayStation and just some pure raw pace, but everyone in this league likes to fight for position no matter the circumstances, so you have to be really careful I was just very conscious of not getting damaged at this stage, because the race is long. There are safety cars that potentially could happen, so we could be throwing a few lifelines. But unfortunately with this game, as I've discussed, and a lot of eSport drivers have discussed, other competitive drivers, it is very, very difficult to overtake. But we get a really good run on Anton at the end of the first lap. You can see the slipstream. We're barely getting any slipstream right in this gearbox, so we're waiting for him to brake. We just brake a little bit later, but then I get caught on the curb, which kind of auto drags you, auto sucks you into it, and that could have been up into P14. And this is the issue now, when you are behind cars in traffic in DRS trains, unless they make a big mistake, it's pretty much going to be impossible to get past them, unless it's through strategy or like tyre delta, things like that, because everyone here is on a pretty good pace. You can see we're having to force Anton into a mistake, so we're forcing him out wide. We try and get the switch back on him. Gonna try and hold it around the outside here, but he brakes pretty late, and at this stage of the race we don't need to be taking too many risks. But you can already see there's already a small division between, I think, the top 5, top 6 to the rest of the field, and you can see there's a little bit of a gap forming, and we just can't get past. But then Anton loses it under traction, and as I was saying, the only way you can really overtake is if you have about a second lap pace, quicker pace through like a tyre delta or strategy, or if they make a big mistake, like Batfall has made another big mistake. He actually just started right in front of me, so he actually made really good progression in this race. And again, this is the only way to really overtake cars. So we're coming towards the end of our first stint, because I was planning to do a medium hard just to try and get track position. I was really hoping a lot of drivers would be going for the one-stop strategy, because that's what a lot of drivers discussed. I had actually tested it quite thoroughly with the likes of Montana, and the two-stop is definitely faster. It's actually quite a bit faster in terms of pace, but you've just got to be very fortunate where you catch the traffic. So if I did a one-stop from where I was starting, I would not have finished where I finished at the end of this race. Let's put it that way. I would have actually been a lot worse off. So it is a faster strategy, and you'll see the winner does do a two-stop strategy as well, because it is just a lot faster. But you're about to see here one example of my pace. So once we get a little bit of free air, I actually started to close in really quickly, and I did quite a lot of practice for this race, both in the quali and especially in the race pace. And I feel like when I really get dialed into a track and I'm really comfortable pushing in the race, I feel the setup is on point, which this setup here I think is the best setup I've used so far in this game. I've uploaded it on my Discord, so if you click the join button, you'll get access to all of my setups, but I uploaded this one after the race, and I think honestly this pace here, just having a little bit of an analysis after the race, I think maybe with the exception of Carl, or maybe even Carl himself, I think we did have the fastest pace out of most people in this race here. It was just, you'll just see when you just get stuck behind traffic, and you'll see a little clip in a second as well. We were doing like mid to low 18s, and you can see in this first stint, because we've been behind cars, we haven't even got into the 18s. So we were going an average about half a second a lap slower than what we were doing in free air without DRS by ourselves. And yeah, we're kind of forced to pit. This is kind of the point I was planning to pit anyway, but maybe a lap a little bit earlier, and because the safety, or sorry, the undercut is actually quite powerful around here. Although the undercut is very powerful, the tyre delta is probably even more powerful around here. So whatever you lose on the undercut, you should be planning to gain that back in your stint, your next stint, and a little bit more. But again, if you come across people on different strategies, that's where you lose time. You can see on this lap here, look how much we've actually closed in on the Red Bull driver, so really closing nicely. But now we've got some cars coming out ahead of us, and yeah, just getting ahead of us. So now they have a lap fresher tyre, so BXNNE and the Mercedes here, who I had a pretty good battle with in the first stint of the race, they're on fresher tyres, and they should be quite a bit faster towards the end of the stint. But yeah, it's about here now.
And this is the problem when you're stuck in the DRS train. My pace is so good then.
So yeah, now we've kind of been halted in our tracks, and if you look at the lap time here, so going across the line, what we're doing, so behind these cars we're doing a 19.2, and this is a clip of me in practice on pretty much a lap earlier as well. When I was in 3A, see, we're not even using that much GAS this lap. We were doing 18.1s. So we were going about almost a second a lap faster, and you can see we actually used less ERS when I was doing the practice. So on average, in this medium stint, or sorry, in this hard stint here, I should really be doing mid to low 18s every single lap. But you will see when we get stuck behind these cars, just how much time you lose. So we should be aiming for probably like an 18.2, 3 or 4 every single lap. And you'll just see with this battling here, I need to get past Bunce because I have a lap fresher tyres than him, but it's just really, really difficult. And you can see BXNNE has gone down the road as well, and look how much time he has gained. So we'll see when we cross the start finish line, look how much time we've lost here. So we should be doing mid to low 18s. We are doing mid 19s, so about a second we've lost there. And that's the thing, when you're stuck behind cars who you were just faster than on different strategy as well, you're losing close to about a second a lap. And I think on average I was losing probably around about half a second a lap for about 10 to 15 laps, which is probably going to be like 7 to 8 seconds throughout the entire race. And this is another example again where we have a bit of clear air. So the guys ahead of me, they are all on fresher tyres, so they should be pulling away actually. Even at this stage, they should have quite a bit more grip even after just one lap fresher tyre. But you will see, even despite us being on an older set of hard tyres here, we actually get back in the DRS zone. You can see, look how quickly we pulled away. We've already got out of the DRS zone of the Red Bull behind us. And this is the really frustrating thing for me, because I knew this is the pace I had in the locker. This is why I'm actually really pushing now. And because I'm on a 2 stop, I can push really as much as I want. And the setup I had on here felt like it was on absolute rails. It was really, really good. And you can see, look how quickly we are actually closing in on the 2 ahead of us. And you will see, going across the line now, let's see what the lap time is. That's more like it, an 18.0. And again, I think realistically, an average of a 0.3, 0.4 every single lap.
That's what we're aiming for. If you don't get through, you lose all the time to the guys.
And you can just hear me saying how much time you do lose. And now we're coming across Paco, who I don't think has even pitted yet. So he is going for a one-stop strategy. He's on the hard tyre. Then he's going to go on to a medium to the end of the race. So one-stop strategy is a lot slower. If you can start at the front and you avoid the traffic, that's the only time it could be beneficial. But you can see, going across the line, a 21.1. So we're losing, what was that, 3 seconds here? And with this battling again, so we just lost 3 seconds in one lap. And Montana, who is one of the front runners, I believe he is trying to do a one-stop as well. I think his brakes were catching on then, so he did the overtake, but then his car actually slowed him down. And yeah, Paco hadn't even stopped, and there was really battling then. So in that position, I wouldn't really be doing it that much because he's pretty much out of the race. But I am going to be fighting Montana and Suzuki behind, because I could actually get back at them at the end of the race. So they're going to be pitting in the late 20s for like a medium, I think, at the end of the race, I believe. So if we can hold them up as much as possible here, we could actually... Oh, actually, no, they've already pitted, so they're on a hard tyre and they are going to the end. We are going to pit again, but on a much fresher hard tyre. So you gain so much time with fresher tyres around here. It is crazy. So we've got to try and hold them as much as we possibly can to negate the damage limitation, the advantage they gain in this stint. And yeah, if we can just keep them behind as much as possible, because you see Crims goes into the pits. And again, we are keeping the Mercedes, who is on a lap fresher tyres than us as well. We've got Suzuki behind now, who is, I think, a net P2 in this race. He isn't going to pit again, so we've got to try and reduce the time loss to him as much as we possibly can, because when we pit in 2 to 3 laps time, his tyres are going to be dying at the end, and we could even catch him. Like that's how much better the fresher tyres are than something else. And you can see he's not actually able to get past us, so that again confirms we have pretty good pace as the Mercedes pits. And looking back, I could have maybe followed him, but like I said before, yeah, you gain a lot on the undercut, but then you lose so much in the tyre delta. So if I pitted then, I knew there was pretty much going to be no chance of me catching Suzuki and Montana towards the end of the race because the tyre delta just wouldn't be enough, and that's what I was aiming for. I was aiming to really try and get back into that top 5, maybe even better, because I knew in free air how much more pace I actually had. So I'm going to try and stick with them as long as I can, and then with 10 laps to go, we should be almost 2 seconds of that faster than them, if not more. And I'm planning to pit this up, so I'm not going to be fighting Montana. So I wasn't really giving him a free pass. I just would have been losing more time than gaining since I'm going to be pitting this up. So yeah, decided to let him through. Then I'm going to be pitting at the end of this lap, and yeah, this is going to give me the best opportunity possible to catch these guys. So those guys ahead of me, they are not going to be pitting again. They're going to the end of the race now. Carl, who is the net race leader, he is on a 2-stop strategy, and he's way ahead.
Sweating so much
at the moment. And yeah, looking back at this race, there's a lot of positives to take. I think in the free air, for me, the pace felt like it's the best it's ever been in the race pace on this game. It was really strong. I've definitely found something with the setup that really works for me. As we come out here now, and we're going to come out behind Paco, who pitted how many laps earlier? Like 5 to 6 laps earlier than us. And if we could have just got out ahead of him, again, you see how much time we lose behind cars. We would have gained probably another 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. And little things like this, even if I use the ARS to come out of the pits, I think probably wouldn't have been able to make it. But yeah, that's why in hindsight, if I pitted maybe a lap earlier, I would have avoided him. That could have made a difference, in all honesty. And you can see catching both, so we've just caught him by about 2 seconds this lap. And you can see, look how much Paco has actually lost time behind us. But yeah, behind here, we should be doing like really low 17s at this point. This is what we should be doing. So we go across the line. Let's see what the lap time actually is. So it should be like a low 17, and we are doing, yeah, like a high 17. So we'll see in this next lap where I'm going to be pushing that a little bit more. Let's see what the lap time is there. And you can see the gaps up ahead. If you keep an eye on those gaps, look how much they have come down this lap. They've come down very fast. They're going across the line now. 17.3. That is more like it. You can see we didn't even use that much ERS this lap because we want to try and save as much as possible until we get up to the cars. You can see here, using ERS but not overdoing it. And the tyres are going off a little bit more and more now, but staying in the 17s is exactly where you want to be. And now we've caught Rene, who was my teammate last season. And again, we should be getting into the 17s every single lap. That is the target. And because we've caught him halfway through the lap, now we're going to be losing so much more time than what we would have been gaining. So right here now, we're forced to put it into no ERS. We might as well just save our battery because there's no way to overtake here. And when we go across the line, you'll see this should have been like a very low 17, probably even like a low 18. Let's see what this is going to be. This is going to be a 19.0. So we lost pretty comfortably about a second that lap just by catching him at the end of sector 3. So imagine if that's a full lap, you're probably going to be losing about 2 seconds. So if you look at the gap again, and you can see a lap or 2 later how quickly we have caught these guys. We do have about 1 to 2 lap fresher tyres than most of these guys now, and you can see again into the 17s. That's exactly what you want to be aiming for. And honestly, looking back at this race and comparing my times against other people, I think maybe with the exception of Carl, we were the fastest car on track. And you will see at the end of the race how far behind we were. We weren't actually that far behind, considering how much time we lost behind some cars. I honestly feel like if we could have been nearer the front, as my teammate lets me go here, so many thanks to him, if we could have even just got into the Q3, even if we were a P8, P9, another 7 positions up, that could have been the difference. Really. That really could have been the difference. As now we're behind Haynes, who I don't think is going to make this too difficult for us. You can see, because we were behind him, we're into the 19s again. So now we're into P9, so we actually are into the points. So from P16, it's not that bad. Carl at Imola got knocked out in Q2 and didn't get into the points. Suzuki knocked out in Q1, didn't get into the points, had a puncture last lap. So far, we've actually done pretty well around a track that's really difficult to overtake. Getting into the points against a grid like this with this speed is actually a pretty good result, but you can see just up the road, we're catching these cars so quickly. See how quickly we caught the Haas of BXNNE here. Vaporizer, I think, is on a one-stop strategy, like the leaders, or from the second or third net place guy. And you can see he's struggling so much, so he isn't going to make it difficult for us. He's got a penalty, so he actually decides to let me go, so respect for him for doing that. And now I've got to try and get past this Haas before he catches these guys up ahead. But with this dirty air, I think he only has a lap older tyres than us at this stage, so the dirty air here is making it a little bit more difficult. And the longer you go into this stint, the more the tyres do equal out. And this is really my only opportunity to overtake now. I have to get past him before he catches these guys up ahead. So we're thinking back at that on the inside, but he knows that's what I'm going to do, because in the preseason race, I think I did that to him in the preseason race, so he knows I'd like to have a bit of a lunge, and very smartly actually covers it off going into there. So this train up here, I think, is the fight for, I think, fourth or third, and there's a few guys with penalties as well. So yeah, this was just so painful because the pace, as you can see, we're in the clear air. I felt rapid. I felt absolutely rapid. The setup was really dialed in. I was really dialed in just with that invalidation from qualifying around the track here. Probably the worst track to be starting near the back of the grid. You can just see how punishing it is and how much time you lose just spending even half a lap behind a car on a different strategy, or a car you just have better pace on. You can just see how much time you lose. So this is the last lap of the race, and yeah, what have we got here? So we've got 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th. So this is the battle for actually 4th on track here. And yeah, we've just got to hope for a miracle. Maybe hope for a little collision here, or someone picks up a penalty or something like that. We are so much faster than all these guys up ahead here. So using our battery, and as we go through to this right-hander, you'll see with the dirty air, he actually goes out wide, so we see his opportunity trying to go down the inside of the Haas driver, but we actually go side by side, so a lot of respect between us through here. He's a very clean driver, so I didn't want to just bombard my way down here. He sees that, and yeah, we both navigated that really respectfully, really well. And you can see again, just trying desperately as much as I could. Carl only just finishes the race, coming across the line. We come home in P8.
Fucking hell.
And you're about to hear me say here now.
My pace was so good. It was so good.
And yeah, after that race, I had very mixed emotions. I was really happy with my pace because I was really struggled at Imola. But I think with a few setup changes, different approaches to my driving, and I've tested this at other tracks as well, I feel my race pace has gone up another level. I've definitely found something within the game and the setups within myself. But what could have been is the painful thing. I think even if we didn't start in the top 3, top 4, if we could have started in that top 8, had a clean start, maybe just maintained position, that would have been 8 less cars you would have been behind. And yeah, that would have been like almost like another 8 seconds gained. Means you wouldn't have been held up by other cars if you did the same strategy. All if, buts and maybes, of course. But yeah, I honestly feel, again, Carl very fast around here. I felt like I would have had the pace to keep with him, but I think I definitely 100% had the pace with that strategy I did. And if ever people did the same strategy they did, I think we could have got a second or third today from like 8th on the grid or something like that. I think we 100% could have done that, because if we look at the results at the end here, if we have a quick look, so I think Carl did like a hard medium. You can see, look at our pace, our fastest lap, and we're only 11 seconds off the win. After how much time we lost behind cars, Carl started P2, we started P16. We're only 11 seconds away. Only like 5 and a bit seconds away from P2, P3, because I think they had some penalties. And you can just see with Carl's pace here, from what we were doing, it was very comparable. If not maybe actually a little bit faster. So yeah, gutted, but I think it shows some good signs of what we have to come We have Silverstone this weekend. It's a 2-stop race this Sunday. Probably my best track for qualifying on the game as well. And yeah, let's see what we can do there. So thank you so much. If you'd like to try this setup, click the join button, become a YouTube member. I'm actually updating all my setups quite a bit recently through this new approach I have found. So hopefully that's something you find useful. If you wish to speak to me directly, want me to review any footage, become a YouTube member, join my Discord, and that's the best place to be. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you soon. Peace.